The Traveller's League Book 1 The Timepiece, written by Nick Goss. Chamber of Crossroads. At the junction where the two great sandstone hallways cross, Hoops decided to take a right and investigate the glowing white portal. He had witnessed the horrors of the black one to the left. He had defeated the Minotaur in the desert at the blue portal behind him, and knew that the green option directly ahead took him to the split hallway and back to the beginning of the labyrinth. Approaching the swirling white disc embedded in the wall, he pulled his knife out and stuck the tip of the blade through. Pulling it back, the knife was unaltered and whole. It now seemed safe to stick a body part through the portal. He thrust his hand through and pulled it back. Same thing, all whole. Taking a breath, he carefully stepped through with his whole body. To his disappointment, he stood at the entrance of the labyrinth again. On the ground, he could see scuff marks from where he and Chase had wrestled for the timepiece. Up ahead, the hallway split to the left, through the green portal, and to the right, where the red portal awaited. Now all that remained was that one. He had seen the Minotaur emerge from the blood-red circle when Chase was seized. Now that the creature was no longer a threat, Hoops felt it was time to explore. The sky above the labyrinth walls seemed uneasy. It was disturbed with rolling grey clouds and distant thunder. Something was happening in the labyrinth. Anger filled the air. Hoops felt uncertain about continuing and stood before the red glowing gate, wondering if he should just move on to the next world. He had certainly had enough excitement in this one and wasn't interested in seeing more creatures or friends hurt. He pulled out his timepiece and, looking down, set it for 11 o'clock. "Trespasser!" The Minotaur jumped out of the great red circle and grabbed Hoops in an instant. "Stop, please, I'm trying to leave, just let me go!" Hoops was in shock. The beast seemed deaf to Hoops's begging and walked through the green gate to the junction. Hoops panicked. He had dropped the pocket watch as the Minotaur dragged him by the hood of his cloak. He knew his fate was to be tossed into that black, horrible void. Taking a right at the crossing of the hallways, the Minotaur approached the black, stinking, moaning portal. Reaching down to grab the boy with both of his black, hairy hands, the creature wasn't prepared for the blue steel that sliced through his arm. Hoops had pulled the knife from his belt and slashed. Bellowing in pain, the Minotaur released his grip, and Hoops crawled backwards and jumped up to his feet. He yelled in fear as he swung the knife in front of him, slashing and waving the blue blade like the conductor of an orchestra. The sting of the knife's bite was enough to give the beast a second thought before lunging at him again. Hoops had enough time to pull his hood over his head as the beast swung its mighty palm at the invisible boy. Hoops dropped to the ground and slipped between its legs. With his back to the dark portal, the Minotaur's hairy back in front of him, Hoops put both hands around the knife's handle and stabbed it deep into the back of the bullman's neck. The creature reached back with both arms in agony, trying to grasp the penetrating blade. His angry and pain-filled cries thundered through the junction. Hoops circled around in front of the beast, and without losing a second, he kicked as hard as he could. The Minotaur stumbled backwards, tripping over its own hooves and dazed from the knife attack. Rocking back, the beast fell to the ground like a great tree, his bulky body landing flat on its back. But the head of the beast went through the swirling black portal. It was a gruesome sight. The headless body of the Minotaur lying on the ground, a pool of dark reddish-brown blood pooling around the gaping hole in the top of its neck. Thunder pealed and lightning flashed in disapproval above. The labyrinth was unhappy with the death of its champion. Suddenly, it occurred to Hoops that the knife had fallen through the black portal along with the beast's head. It was lost, and there was no way Hoops was going in after it. Instead, he headed back to the beginning of the labyrinth, where he could safely use the timepiece without any strange thing coming out of the strange portal. As he stepped through the green gate on his way back, He was shocked to see the head of the giant black minotaur squeezing out of the oozing red portal ahead. The bull's head fell to the ground and onto its side, the knife still lodged in the back of its neck. Only when it landed, one of the eyes popped out and dangled from its socket. The rest of the beast didn't emerge, only the head had regenerated, but it was alive. "Trespasser!" it yelled at Hoops, but it simply lay there on the ground. Hoops calmly walked over and pulled the knife from its neck, then picked up the head by one of its horns. He had to use both hands. Lifting it up to eye level, the beast spoke. "Restore me, man-child. You don't know what you've done." As he spoke, more thunder shook the sky. Hoops was tired of being scared. "No, we need to talk. You're coming with me." He pulled out the timepiece and set it for 6:30. This time the pocket watch didn't reset itself, and Hoops felt a flood of relief knowing that he'd come home in a few short moments. He wound and rubbed the timepiece with his left hand, while the horned head of the Minotaur dangled in his right. The cyclone of electricity swished around him. "What am I going to tell Mum when she sees this thing?" Whoosh! What a sight it must have been to see a boy with a magic cloak and leather boots suddenly materialise in the living room, holding the head of a talking bull. Hoops was sure that his mum would faint, and he was fully prepared to call 911. But Mum wasn't there. It was the middle of the afternoon and the apartment was empty. He felt like he'd been gone for years, and the room was hazy with memories, but this was his home. He was back. "Take me back, traveller. You don't know what you have done," grunted the bull. "You're not going anywhere until you give me some answers." Hoops snapped at the beast. "Who are you?" "I am Sentinel. I am the guardian of the labyrinth and the keeper of the secret." "What secret?" Hoops demanded. "Dumb question, man-child," the bull snorted. "None shall enter, none shall escape." "Well, I guess you'll be staying here with me until you tell me more, Sentinel, and it's going to be hard to guard your labyrinth and your secret without your body. So until you tell me what I want to know, you're stuck here with me." The Minotaur was quiet for a long time. Hoops set him on the floor and sat cross-legged in front of him. They were eye to eye, locked in a staring contest. Hoops was great at that game and could get his answers. "Sentinel, if you want me to return you to the labyrinth, you're going to have to tell me the secret." "No, you don't know what you have done, boy," the Minotaur moaned. "What is the labyrinth hiding?" "The chamber," said the beast. "It contains the secret. It must not be found. All trespassers seek it. No trespassers must find it. None shall enter. None shall escape." "The chamber, huh?" Hoops was curious enough to almost want to go back. "So where is this chamber? I looked all over the labyrinth, went through every portal. It's just hallways and gates. It's not even that big." Sentinel grunted. "Only I can enter. The door is hidden. None shall enter. None shall escape," Hoops interrupted. "Blah, blah, blah. I get it. Where is the door hidden?" The Minotaur said nothing. "Where is the door hidden, Sentinel?" Hoops was growing annoyed with this bull-headed grump. "Foolish child. The labyrinth lies wide open to trespassers because of you." The beast scolded. "I keep the secret. I keep them locked up. I keep the world from their chaos. I am the guardian. They must not escape. Trespassers seek the secret, the chamber, but they await to be released. They will destroy the worlds. Now, no one watches. No one guards. No one keeps the secret safe, foolish boy. Your selfish thirsting for adventure has led the world to the edge of chaos and evil. Take me back, boy." Hoops saw that he had made a mistake. This wasn't an evil beast. He was created to guard something very important. Hoops felt like he had just discovered the world's rarest, most precious flower and plucked it from its stem for his own pleasure. "Okay, Sentinel, here's what's going to happen. I'll take you back, but I won't restore you until you show me this chamber."
"If I show you the chamber, you restore me. If you restore me, I expel you. You may die, boy."
"You will show me the chamber, then I'll restore you. I'll be gone before you can catch me, though." Hoops gripped the timepiece. He was a little worried about the plan, but Sentinel gave him answers and he wanted to see this secret. The beast said,
"Make an oath you will restore me."
"I promise." Hoops grabbed the timepiece, resetting it for 10 o'clock. He grabbed one of Sentinel's great horns as the swirl tightened around them. Whoosh!
"Forward,"
Sentinel directed. They started in a new hallway, or maybe it was the same hallway. Hoops wasn't sure. Everything was different. There were new junctions and portals. Nothing was familiar at all. The labyrinth had rearranged itself. Hoops asked Sentinel where they were.
"Labyrinth protects itself each time a trespasser arrives. You are the first to return. None shall enter. None shall return,"
he grumbled.
"Stop here."
They stood at a dead end. The sandstone hallway just, ended.
"Push,"
ordered Sentinel. Hoops placed his hands on the sandstone wall and leaned into it. The sandstone bricks unlocked themselves and double doors swung open and inward.
"Enter, but touch nothing,"
he growled. "Enough with your dumb rules," Hoops complained as he walked into the chamber and gave his eyes time to adjust to the low light. It was a giant dome. The walls around the circular chamber were 20 feet high before curving into a stone hemisphere. All around the walls of the room were 12 portals. Each one glowed with a different colour, and each was equally distanced from the next. Hoops walked alongside the wall, investigating each one. Etched in the stone floor before every portal was a different name. "Are these the 12 worlds of my timepiece?" he asked.
"This is the chamber of Crossroads, where one may pass from one world to another. This is the center,"
Sentinel offered.
"The secret is there, in the middle."
Hoops turned and looked to the center of the great domed room, and dazzling green crystal hovered 20 feet above. Its light illuminated the floor below and it pulsed slowly. He tried to act like he wasn't that impressed. "What's so special about that green rock?"
"Foolish man-child, that is the key. It keeps open the gates to other worlds, and it keeps them locked away in the darkness."
"You keep saying them and they. Who are you talking about?"
"Look above you, at the top of the chamber, boy."
Hoops looked upwards into the dark, distant top of the dome. Embedded in the ceiling, at its very centre was a black circle. It swirled with turbulent shadow, like black mist caught in a whirlpool. It was full of more cries and moans. "What is that?" Hoops hissed in fear.
"That is the prison. That is where they are locked up. None shall enter. None shall escape."
Hoops understood now. Sentinel protected the key to the worlds and was responsible for keeping that terrible darkness from being unleashed into the chamber. It made sense that Sentinel would trust no one, whether they were a traveller or not. The risk of anyone entering this chamber was too great, and Hoops knew Sentinel had the most important mission of all, to trust no one and protect the secret. The thought of someone like Braxo entering the chamber and wielding his magic made him shudder. He could rule all the worlds, or destroy them.
"You made an oath, traveller,"
Sentinel reminded him. "I did, and I'll keep it. Let's go." Hoops left the chamber with the head of Sentinel and was directed around corners and down hallways until he lost track of where he might be in the labyrinth. Rounding one last turn, they came to a black portal with the headless body of a Minotaur lying in front of it.
Now restore me,
Sentinel ordered. Hoops set the bull head down respectfully and used all his strength to push the heavy bulk of the Minotaur's headless body through the portal. When he was done, he picked up Sentinel's head and looked him in the eye. I am sorry. I didn't understand. Thank you for showing me the chamber. Hoops paused, then chanted, None shall enter, none shall escape. He tossed the head into the black gate and quickly pulled out the timepiece. He rushed to set it to 11 o'clock, knowing what was about to happen. Rubbing the timepiece, he heard a monstrous bellow behind him.
Trespasser!
Sentinel, fully regenerated, charged around a distant corner to do his job. Hoops smiled and was glad to see the Guardian restored.
Whoosh!